To cleanse or not to cleanse? I think that is the common question that we get, especially when it comes to relationships. Do we go the route of cleansing? Are cleansings important? And what purpose do they serve to umntwana wedlozi, or generally just you and I? On this video, I'll be unpacking all of that. So stay tuned. Thokozani, I am Paul Wabadimu, the advocate of Idlozi, and once again I welcome you to my YouTube channel. And thank you so much for choosing to view this video. If you still haven't subscribed to the channel, I suggest you do so by clicking on the subscription button. And don't forget to head on down to the notification button so that you are notified every time there's new content on the channel. Well, today's topic was suggested by Well, this is a very interesting topic. I believe something that we all ask ourselves at some stage in our lives. I once covered something like this when I did a topic on relationship imprints. Please go to my old videos and you will get some of the things I'm going to highlight in this video there. But that video is going to paint a little bit deeper and help you understand, or rather know, why we do the practice of cleansings, post relationships, and all these other things. Okay, so cleansings are very important because they play a very vital role to a person's existence in general. But the question is, do I have to cleanse myself, Gogo, post a relationship? What if I'm just dating for the fun of dating, or whatever the case might be? Well, Mtanelozi, you have to cleanse yourself, because the truth of the matter is some problems that we face, or rather that come to us in our life's existence or life's experience, are normally sexually transmitted problems, your STPs, or rather your spiritually transmitted problems, your STPs. So those type of problems, we normally get to find them, or rather get them through the partners or people we have dated, because there is a lot of things that go into being a relationship with someone. It's not just about you and that person loving each other, giving each other roses, giving each other orgasms. There is a lot of things that goes into being in a relationship with someone. Whether that person came into your life for a reason, a season, a lesson, whatever the case might be, but there is a certain spiritual agreement that is there for you guys to cross paths. If you believe in the divine intervention, well, this video is just for you. Well, when it comes to cleansings, you need to understand that cleansings are often the restart of your life. Look at yourself as a book. With every person that you have dated, that's every page in your life. And if you don't cleanse of that, you literally take the previous stories, basically the previous story into your next chapter. I don't know if I'm making sense. You practically are taking the previous chapter into your next chapter with anyone that you are going to meet. So what happens is that everyone has their own spiritual DNA, and abanye abantu bavalelekile empilweni zabo because of generational curses. Sometimes abanye baloyiwe, abanye kunezinto esuke zibayenzekalela generally because of their lives, or rather karma that has been brought into their life. So, umuzwana nomuntu, you become one with that person, whether you like it or not, because manhlangana ngokwegazi, you take what is theirs, they deposit what is theirs, and they take what is yours, and you deposit what is yours into their lives, whether you like it or not. There's some relationships you can go back and look at and see, Guti, yes, when I was dating John, my life went from A to Z. Or other relationships, you can tell that when Peter was in my life, so sometimes kuyenzeka ngokuthi omunye umuntu uma nihlangana ngokwedlozi yonke into kuyabalansa, izinto zakhe zikhanye noma ezakho zikhanye because of the spiritual DNA. Uma iklika nizoflowa nihambe nizwane. But then what happens in a situation when you find someone who is going through curses or generational curses and all of those things? You take on those things, sister, and they become part of your life, and that becomes your STP. You are literally gonna take, or rather inherit, that STP into your next relationship and the coming relationship, and so forth and so forth. So with all these sexually transmitted problems, or rather spiritually transmitted problems, you are carrying that DNA everywhere you go. And chances are you are going to affect the next person you are going to be with. So for the sake of yourself, you make sure that you cleanse of those things so that because you might find, oh, my relationships are all the same, or the kind of guys I'm attracting are all the same. If there is not a variety in your exes or in your relationships, then you must know that you are carrying a certain DNA from someone that you have now passed on to the next person, because lento isegazini, you are gonna attract the same people. For example, if I was dating Ujon wayomgulukudu womuntu, and Ujon was a scammer, John was abusive, John was an alcoholic, John was this and that and that, and I move on, I date Peter, I will find Peter was just decent. But as time goes on, Peter starts being, or rather acting, or rather sesihlangabezana neyinkinga ebengihlangabezana nazo while I was in a relationship with John. You see, that is the spiritual imprint, or rather the relationship imprint that was embedded between you and that person you were dating. Same applies with women. If I was dating uNomsa and then ndingahlangana noThandeka, if uThandeka was umuntu that was behaving a certain way, probably it will end up being the same thing also with my current relationship. That's why you find in some cases, abanye abantu, when you take a look at the people they've dated, or rather their exes, or rather a similarity in characteristic or appearance. So you need to be careful of those things, because if you want to move on and start over in life, you need to break that system, or rather break that curse. And that is where we introduce the system of cleansing yourself post a relationship. I cleanse myself regularly, and also post relationships, I take that very seriously. I don't want to date the same person twice, because you end up dating the same person twice but in a different body, or rather 3 times or 4 times, and then you end up feeling pity party. Why me? Why am I every guy I'm meeting is like John? Kanti the DNA of John is very much moving on. Listen when I tell you that life is spiritual. It is important that you invest in cleansing in at least every year, or rather that's why I offer year-end cleansings and first fruit cleansings, because those are very important. If for someone who can't maneuver around AMA cleansings, maybe during the year you are in your hoeing phase, I understand. I am Ugogo Wama 2K, so there is nothing you can feel ashamed of. You are in your hoeing phase the whole year. You are able to come and get a cleansing, because we might not know, within a space of 12 months, maybe you end up dating 2, or rather 3, or rather 14 people. It does happen, and there is absolutely nothing to feel ashamed of. You will never meet the right person or the love of your life uhlele endlini ubukele Netflix. You need to go out, meet people, kiss some frogs and some gundwanes, and then you're gonna encounter your Mr. Right or Mrs. Right. So in terms of when it comes to cleansings, there are certain rituals I personally practice so that you break that bondage, or rather that cycle. Look at yourself as that book. Literally, or rather picture this. With every person that you have dated, you have a wire hanging from you. So when you don't cleanse of those people, spiritually mangubona, you are walking around khutana neintambo of DNA yakalapha, because whether you like it or not, spiritually you'll still be connected to that person or that person's ancestors, because kunenye inkinga esuke sihlangabezane nayo esina singabantwana bedlozi. You end up dating umuntu uthola ukuthi uthandwe noma uconge yidlozi before that person was ever in a relationship with you. So you might find ukuthi for the duration of your existence, in some instances uzithola in a relationship with someone ganti uconye yidlozi lalapho. In most cases, those type of relationships don't end up lasting because uthandwa yidlozi bese ingane yabo maybe fails to see reason behind you being there, because idlozi will probably see reason or responsibility or spiritual guidance or a certain role that you need to play in someone's life. So what happens, you end up walking your whole life connected to all these ancestors that feel ukuthi wena uhlezi nabo or they own you. I have been in a situation like that where I dated someone, it was a while ago, that was years, that I think was before Thokoza and Thokoza, and then with that person, basically umkhulu wakhe wayengithandile more than the actual person. So basically that relationship prolonged, even in a sense of we would break up but sometimes find our way together again, break up, find our way together again, break up, find that lasted for a duration of 3 years. I'm trying to say to you that these things happen because you need to understand something. For the moment you're still attached to that person spiritually, nizologonenza it back and forth, you guys will never break up. But break up kwenu kuzoyenza inhlalo yenu noma your relationship be uncomfortable or be not nice. I'm one person that is against ukuthi just because I'm a sangoma, the first thing I need to do, I need to introduce you to my ancestors. Get to know someone first. Get to understand and know before you can take it emsamo. Because sometimes uzothola ukuthi uconge idlozi, but by you igniting that, uyisumuntu emsamo, uyazibophezela noma uyazishadisa wena ngokwedlozi, and it ends up being a problem. So when it comes to cleansings, they are very essential. If you are a divorcee, you need to go cleanse. Abantu abanjalo kuyahluka depending on the type of family osukushadele kuyo. Abanye abantu uyagezwa ngenkukhu, omunye umuntu siyamgeza ngembuzi, depending osuke situation ingakhona. That is uyafana nomuntu osuke esenzilweni. Practically you can't jump and move into another relationship ungaka detachwa nabantu spiritually, because you will always be viewed or seen naloyo muntu loyo in the spiritual realm. So what happens, you end up being bound spiritually. That's why anyeke nikhona ukuchubeka ngeimpilo zenu if one does not do the role of detaching themselves. So it is very important ukuphuma ukuhamba ukuyofuna impilo, because sometimes we always think our problems are because of simele sitwaso in nan. Kanti sometimes kunama spiritually transmitted bondages okunezinto nje esuke zisihaqile esizithole ngekuhamba kwempilo, and it is perfectly okay. Don't look at yourself and feel bad. I always say this to my female clients that want to come for relationship imprint cleansings. I'm like, let's look at your past, gogo. Let's look at the similarities between your ex. Then I'm able to gauge the situation for umuntu ngikwazi ukuthi ngimblekelele noma ngimsize, because in this day and age we are living in, cleanser is very important. Abafana bamanje abasafani nabakudala, basebenzisa imithi, bayayikhunga intombazana noma bayadlisa ukuthi umuntu uhlale naye. So cleansing is a holistic experience, not just by taking you emanzini. There are certain things, that is why I say consulting before a cleansing is very important. But sometimes you find you end up taking them to the water. But Mina, I believe in cleansing, consulting you first. So if you're gonna book for a cleansing, you say go booker for a cleansing, then I'm able to schedule you for a consultation because mhlambe kunezinto that I need to give you ofuze uyiphalaze, whether you are a male or a female. Kuyenzeka kakhulukazi thina besifazane, you find ukuthi ezinye izinto ziyafakwa kithi while we are having sex with the person. Umuntu yanikezwa into kuthiwa gcoba. And the same applies with men. You never really know what your person is doing behind your back. But I always say this, if umuntu uzombopha noma uzomenza into efana njengaleyo, before you make that decision, sit down and look at their picture. Will I still feel like this after 10 years about this person? Because again, kumuto perfect. But when you look at the pros and the cons, you end up sitting down and being like, maybe let me just allow course of life to, to take its course. Because sometimes you uma ubopha umuntu, uthatha umuntu umfake ejele spiritually, umbophela kuwe. And what does that do to your life? Uyazibamba wena, and you will never move forward. Your blessings and anything else related to your life will always be delayed because this person is stuck. What if they were supposed to meet their soulmate? You are delaying their soulmate who was going to meet them, but because of your selfish reasons, you ended up holding on to this person. So I could go on and on and on. Also, you are dating a person or you terminated for them. I'll touch on the part of termination. Uma umuntu you terminated for them, please make sure that you cleanse. Uma kuphela. While if you are still in the relationship, you also cleanse, because unamathunzi osuke unawo ayi amnyama gogo, but because usuke ushonelwe, whether the abortion was a week or 15 weeks, but we need to do certain rituals ukuze uzophuma esikhupheni sizokwazi ukuthi size uyele phambili. So there's a lot of things, or rather things that bind us, or rather the conflict tire when it comes to the spiritual. But my advice to you is invest in at least getting cleansed. If it's not twice in a year, make it 3 times or 4 times if you can. Zijwayeze, because kuningi la sihamba khona abantu esihlangana nabo asibazi ukuthi babuyaphi, and now umuntu ohlangana nawe akakwazi ukuthi ubuyaphi. But if you see potential in the person you want to be with, sit down with that person. We are in a woke age. Sandwa, my love, my ogosam samatambo. Can we make a decision ukuthi we want to move on, but angifuni siqagwe inkinga zakho na uqagwe ngezami. Asiqale into yethu sobabili sibone ukuthi siyaphi. Hamba ogezwa ithi ngiyogeza onami ngigeze. That is why ngithi uphila kanjani lana emhlabeni ungasumuntu every now and then osuka yobheka impilo yakho noma uyihlambulule, because kuningi esisuke sihlangana nabo. Because that is the same. Uzothola ukuthi in some instances men are very secretive. Indoda yakhe yahamba yolala nosisi mhlambe osuke edayisa ngomzimba, and uthola usisi has certain characteristics, and mhlambe usisi uthanda ukubhema ugwayi, she's ukhuluma nje dladla, and then abuye endlini ubaba with that DNA alale nawe. You end up taking on that person's DNA. You might not do into sisayenzayo, but nini so crave ugwayi, nini now so dladla. So that is why this joke, or rather this thing, it's umuntu mawuzwana naye nigcine nifana. You look at yourself when you're in a certain relationship. Abanye abantu when they're in a certain relationship azwana nomuntu oyiphathiso kweguzayize kwegugesta oyaguga naye eloke emncane. Omunye ayiphathi ngathi igudlugudlu ngoba uzwana negudla yengudugudu. So kuningi okusuke kukhona kuba yiclip kuba mawishiwishi. But what I can tell you is that cleansings are good for yourself. Hit that reset button, because it helps you also hit a reset button emsamo wakho. Remember, unamagazi wala madoda osukulala nawo, and ngapha uyaphahla. So you cannot usashisa unegazi lika John ngapha uhlanganisa no Peter. You have multiple partners, or rather you jump from one relationship to another. You must know ukuthi ezinye zezinto we end up sikhomba abantu abadala, kanti sometimes okunye kukuthi because we don't know ukuthi umuntu usuke athwele ini. So uyalahla, but make sure that you start your life over. Makube yimfihlo yakho leyo, ungahambi upendwe ngamabala, because if we all walked around, sibhalwe ama ex relationships wethu, abanye bangaquleka ukudlula abanye. So it's important that you actually reevaluate and sort yourself out in this day and age, and make sure that you get a cleansing that goes for if you've been raped, if you've been sexually assaulted, because I always say sometimes that thing isuke iba nomkhokha ikulandelele, you end up being continuously raped. So it's very important that you stand up uzilungise noma ulungise impilo yakho. So I hope I answered your questions with this. I hope this video was very insightful and you took a thing or two. And if you have any questions, leave them down below with the hashtag LoziChat so that we can get to unpack. So thank you so much for your interaction in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video and leave your comments down below. If you feel you need to share this to someone, please do. Mtane Lozi, be woke. Mtane Lozi, be grounded, because you need to know thyself. If you don't know thyself, you will end up being lost. So this was the advocate of Idlozi with a topic around cleansings from relationships and all of that situation. So make sure that you do the right thing. Seek help where you feel comfortable. Seek help should you feel you need to do so. After this, khawuhlale phansi uyibuze, uhlale phansi ubambe umthetho ukuthi kanti kwenzakalani ngambi. And if you find problem or reason, kungcono usukume gogo uhambe uyohlola. But thank you so much. Kindly note that I am back endumbeni and I am taking all your consultations, whether it is virtually or face-to-face sessions. And also I will open doors for my mentorship program. Apologies for our WhatsApp line, we've just been inundated with messages. So if you feel ukuthi sithatha kade ukuphendula, just hang in there. Give us at least a day or two, because we just opened for October. So kuningi nibaningi nifuna ukuncedwa ngesikhathi esisodwa, but ngizofika kini nginsize one by one. Thank you so much for watching this video. I am Po Wabadim with the advocate of Idlozi, ugogo unkomi yahlaba, and I will see you on our next episode of Lozi Chats.